art you got? You're very creative.
Right here. Yeah.
Hello.
I would love to work with God. They say you're out of town, man. Busy, right? They got you all over the world. Man, I just got back from Haiti. But really, how was it away? Huh? How was it away? Needs to counsel. Hi, my name is Leroy.
Do you fast after taking this?
And it's an organization basically primarily focused on health and healing, mental, physical, and also spiritually as well. And currently upstate New York, we have bees about it.
So sorghum recommended by bees everywhere.
I don't want to break
If you have the trip, let me know. Let me know how
I'm not taking back that $10. I'm trying to find some.
Without too much. These are cute little dishes. Oh, okay.
No, nurse. Grab jar 22X from off the shelf. He said, wait a minute, that's what you used the last time. I chose remember.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Wonderful? Great, great. So we're here to talk to you about, my name is Monet, this is my brother Ezra, and we're here to talk to you about Eden Lifestyle Health, Eden Lifestyle Home, Health and Lifestyle Retreat Center, upstate New York.
Typically, we operate different health sessions that range from 7 days, 14 days, and also 21 days. Again, like I said, where we're taking different cases, terminal cases of cancer, blood pressure, diabetes, people who had strokes, mental conditions, and many more, in which the only diet regimen that we really follow there is a plant-based diet. We've seen no other diet to really help people not only prevent, but also reverse even those top killer ailments. And just for example, throughout the 14-day health session, we recently ended today. One of the individuals who came, if you can imagine, about the 10th day, she lost about 32 pounds on a plant-based diet. We had another one, she spent 7 days at our health retreat, and in 7 days' time, she lost 20 pounds. Now imagine what that did to her, because she left, she was on medications for diabetes and blood pressure and many other things, but she left without blood pressure issues, she left without diabetic conditions. And we see many individuals week after week, month after month, as we continue to minister, not only at the center, but even as we go throughout doing seminars, educating people, we have seen powerful changes that individuals are able to achieve as a result of following a simple, natural lifestyle regimen.
If you have not noticed, David and I go to the same hairstylist. I keep telling folks, bald head men rule. So, I'm going to be extremely brief, but I do want to be as complete as possible. And thank you so much. Saturdays and Sundays are my normal days on steroids. So, sorry if I'm a little tardy, but we cover a lot of ground. Brooklyn is an amazing place, 2.6 million people. If we were a separate city, we'd be the third largest city in America. But the real jewel of Brooklyn is that 47% of the people there speak a language other than English at home. So I don't know what Trump is talking about, but America is made up of this great diversity, and we know how to celebrate it in the borough of Brooklyn in a real way. So back in 2016, I saw a mother inject herself with insulin, and I'm very close to my mother. Mother has 6 children. She loves them all, but she adores me. I'm her favorite. And you can watch something and it really never settles in until you actually see it. And I remember Mommy grimacing, and I said to myself when I sat in her driveway, I said, God, I'm not a doctor, but I would really love to do something for Mommy. She was on high blood pressure medicine for 57 years. She was on insulin for 7 years, diabetic for 15 years, and just all these different medicines. And you know what I'm talking about, the American package. Sitting around the table, I'll never forget, she was in Florida with her sisters, and she left her diabetes medicine in New York. And she said, well, don't worry about it, I can give you some of mine. It was everyone around the table who was taking the same medicine. And so I was in Dubai, and I had this pain in my stomach that would not go away. And I thought, sure, it was colon cancer. I lost a good friend to colon cancer. And I was really troubled by it. And I said, when I get back to the city, I was going to go to the doctor and have a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. And men, you have to drag us to the hospital. And when I came out of sedation, the doctor told me, he said, Eric, your colon is fine. You have an ulcer, and you have sores on your esophagus. You have to be very careful from acid reflux because it can lead to cancer. He said, but your real problem is your diabetes. Your diabetes is through the roof. Your A1C is at 17. He said, I never saw that before. And so he said, I have to put you on insulin right away, and I have to give you 3 medicines. One was metformin. And I said, hold up a minute, let me talk to some other folks. I went to 5 different doctors. They all said the same thing. Hereditary is in your DNA, your mother's diabetic, your brother's diabetic, your sister is pre-diabetic, it runs through your family, and it is what it is. At that time, I lost my sight in my left eye. I was losing my sight in my right. I had permanent nerve damage in my hands and feet. I didn't realize that. It was tingling all the time. And they said, we can slow down your vision loss, but you're going to lose your vision, and you're going to lose some of your fingers and toes because the nerve damage was severe. I couldn't even feel my right thigh because the nerve damage from the diabetes was so serious. And I did something scientific. I went and Googled reversing diabetes. All of this information came up. And you have to weed through it because there's different methods of dealing with diabetes, but you want a holistic approach. And so what I did was, there was a doctor, Dr. Essie, we call him, we affectionately call him Dr. Essie in Ohio, the same doctor that treated Bill Clinton for his heart disease. I called him up and said, my name is Eric Adams. I live in Brooklyn. I was told I was diabetic, and I was reading your material, his great book on preventing and reversing heart disease. And I would like to come and see you. He said, Eric, fly down to see me. And when I got to the airport, as fate will have it, there was another book that I saw in the research, Dr. Greger, How Not to Die. And then there was another book from Dr. Bonner. So, now, I'm like, I am all in at this point. And I'm reading this stuff, and I'm like, what is this? And so when I landed in Ohio, I called my staff, and I said, listen, I need you guys to go and get Dr. Greger's book and Dr. Bonner's book, and I need for you guys to do some cross research to see is this, some legitimate stuff. And so sure enough, when I saw Dr. S.E., he said, Eric, if you change your lifestyle, you can reverse your condition. And so I started questioning him over and over again, and he just like gave me this look like, you know, this is stupid. I'm not having this conversation. You know, either you want to do it or you don't. That's how he is, one or the other. It's not, you know, you're just not going to play with it. And so I got back to the city, and I just focused. Cleaned out the cupboards, went whole food, plant-based, you know, not vegan, whole food, plant-based, because vegans eat Oreos. You know, whole food, plant-based. You know, it's a whole different conversation. You know, and 3 weeks, my vision clears up. My ophthalmologist was blown away. 3 months, my A1C goes from a 17 to a 5.7. My cholesterol goes from a 217 to a 57. Blood pressure normalized, the ulcer went away, the sores on my esophagus went away, all that nerve damage in my hands and feet, gone. Gone. And so Mom was watching, and she was like, you know, baby, I've been watching you, I've been reading all this stuff about what you're doing. This is this year, January this year. And she says, you know, I want to try it. I said, Mommy, you know, you in that Southern diet, you can't stick your toe halfway in and then out. No, it's either real or not. And she says, no, I'm tired of living like this. And January she started. She calls me late February in tears. She said, baby, they took me off insulin. They took me off insulin. Think about that for a moment. My mother, you know, diabetes is the #1 cause of blindness, #1 cause of non-traumatic limb amputation, leading cause of heart disease, kidney failure, 3 hours a day, 3 days of the week, sit inside having your kidneys done. I altered that destiny for my mother.
Amen.
Think about that. You know, we have to absorb that. And I thought that diabetes, I was buried with diabetes, and I was planted. For those who know me, my life was really in the police department as the founder of 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. I thought that was my legacy. Fighting against aggressive police behavior. That is going to be nowhere near what I'm going to do in health in this country. Nowhere near. And I remember bringing my sisters and brothers together and explaining to them, it's not our DNA, it's our dinner. It's not our breakfast, it's where we're born, or it's not where we're born, it's our breakfast, not our lineage, it's our lunch. Because Mr. Martin, that lived next door to us for 40 years in Queens, he died of diabetes, related illnesses, and we don't share the same DNA. So this is not DNA, and a special message to those of us of African American and Caribbean ancestry. When you start to dig into this, and we all know about this Willie Lynch letter philosophy of when you plant something in the community, that they will self-perpetuate it throughout history. The food we eat was forced on our ancestors when they were on the plantation, and it was forced on them. They must be looking from their grave and say, how did you take the poison we were forced to eat and you turn it into your delicacy? Soul food is slave food. And no matter how intellectual we are, and it's amazing to me, I sit down with some of the most prestigious, intelligent, Ivy League folks of color. If you want to see buffoonery come out, try to take someone's ham away from them. All that intellect goes out the window. I had a good friend of mine, is one of the prominent lobbyists in the city. She does about $2 million a year in lobbying. You know, smart sister. And she was having seizures, falling out in the street. She'll call me, and she's in the precinct. The doctors were calling from the hospital and said, you know, she has you as an emergency number. Just going through it for about 6 months. And she said, I can't do this anymore. You know, my life is, you know, no longer. I'm going to close up my shop, and I'm going to go live with my mother in Chicago. And I can't just continue. They gave her all these medicines. And I said, listen, I'm not a doctor. Be careful when I start off saying that. I'm not a doctor. But this food comes out in different ways. So all I'm asking you to do, I told her, just for 3 months, go plant-based. She went plant-based a year and a half ago. She has not had another seizure. Not another seizure. So, gives me diabetes, gives the next person depression, gives another person a lead towards Alzheimer's and dementia, gives another person breast cancer, another person colon cancer. It comes out different ways, but the poison needs to respond. You can't be healthy on a meat-based American diet, period. It's the rolling of the dice. Some people, it may not happen until they're 80 years old. Some people, it may not happen until they're 30 years old. It will come out. It's just, it doesn't matter how and when, and it's going to impact your quality of life. It's impossible for it not to. And so when you hear folks say, yeah, well, my mom, my dad ate such and such, and they lived to be such and, yeah, well, you know what? They could have lived longer, because if you are a Christian and you read the Bible, we were living into the hundreds. And there have been some scientific evidence that show how long man has lived. Our lifespan is cut short because of what we eat. So, doctor comes to me. I'm at Borough Hall. I have this lactation room. I'm like part of the hashtag Men Who Get It. So I have a lactation room, and the doctor comes in, and she sees me, and she looks at my poster. She said, "You look different." I said, "Yes, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I wanted to treat it by using diet. And I saw a doctor in Ohio." She said, "Dr. Essie." I said, "Yes." She said, "Let me tell you what happened." She said, "My husband had a massive heart attack in the hospital, and they brought him back to life. They had him in the waiting area, and he picked up the phone and he texted me, 'Find Dr. Essie.' She found him. He did like I did, traveled down to visit him. At the same time, he saw his cardiologist here in the city, and he said, 'Listen, I want to reverse my condition.'" The cardiologist said, "Well, reverse it? Listen, your veins are clogged. They don't get unclogged." He said, "Well, I want to try." Year later, the cardiologist, after going on the same diet, the cardiologist looks at his reports, and he realizes that his arteries open. The cardiologist said, "Listen, can you tell me the name of that doctor? I have to go for a scan." Number one killer of cardiologists is heart failure. Don't teach this in school. Dr. McDougall attempted to get Congress to pass legislation to increase the number of nutrition-based courses to see what milk and dairy is doing to our families. And they all, and Congress, being the weak-kneed folks that they are, succumb to the lobbyists and would not have it. Only a quarter of the medical schools in this city, in this country, teach a course on nutrition. How to treat symptoms. This must be a movement, because when you have a chronic disease, it hijacks your life. It destroys not only the person who's going through the disease, but the caregiver. You're no longer yourself. You're waiting for the next test. You're worried, did it spread? Where am I? How am I going to have to put my family in hospice? You know, who's going to be sitting with our loved ones? What's happening with our children? It takes and consumes you. It is criminal to what we're doing in this country and how we're propping up the meat and dairy industry merely to allow the profits to get in the way of our families. This is despicable. And so medical team. And he must sit down, and as a prerequisite, you should give him those books that show the reversal. Look at those videos that are out. There's a great video out coming out in a few days called Game Changer to show the impact of a plant-based on sports figures and how many athletes are now going, like Tom Brady is going plant-based to change their game. When young athletes start to see and crash the myth of you must eat meat to get your protein. You know, where's your protein come from? Same place it comes from, cows. So this is where we are. So let me close with this. My two most exciting things that we're doing. Bellevue Hospital, if you haven't heard. Dr. McMacken, and her team there, we're going to have the first plant-based clinic in a New York City hospital. This is unbelievable what we're about to do. So patient comes in with heart disease, diabetes, some of the other diseases. He has an option now. You can go the traditional route and get medicine to treat your symptoms, or you can reverse the conditions that are causing the disease, the underlying reason that the diseases are taking place. This is going to change medicine in this country, because when we show the success of Bellevue and we duplicate it in one of the largest hospital systems in the country, then it's going to send a signal across the entire globe, because the diabetes crisis is a global crisis. The healthcare crisis is a global crisis. It's not a local crisis. Second thing, we are moving towards getting the city to get processed meat out of our schools. This is good stuff. Good stuff. How the heck does the WHO say processed meat is a type 1 carcinogen and we're serving it to our babies every day? 980,000 meals we serve daily that causes the crises in our healthcare system. So little Johnny eat a hamburger on Monday. Is he going to have colon cancer on Tuesday? No. But he's going to be learning life skills that is going to prevent him from having a healthy lifestyle. And we're going to move to get processed meat out of our schools. And so we need your voice to help in making this happen. A third, first time in history, Dr. Kim Williams and Dan Purges and other investors are starting a journal on reversing diseases. Never before. All the journals we have now are treating the symptoms of diseases. This is the first medical journal that will focus on disease reversal. Game changer. A cosmic shift in our thinking that for so many years people felt that reversing diseases was impossible. Once you had a disease, that's what you had to live with for the rest of your life. Bringing in our faith-based institutions, our rabbis, our imams, our Baptist preachers, bringing them on board to really embrace the concept, because this food is like crack. You're just not going to wake up and say, you know what, I'm no longer going to be addicted. We are addicted. And the same way you get off of drugs and alcohol, you do it by having the support system and look at the behavioral patterns, because people are feeding their pain. And if we're going to do this, it has to be a holistic approach. Now, some would do like I did, got it. But the overwhelming number of people, they need that support system in place to make this happen. Only faith-based institution that even deals with this are Seventh-day Adventists. Only one. Only one. That's the good side. But the bad side is a whole lot of them don't listen. Let's keep it real. You know, there's no greater sin than having the information and ignoring it. You can't go through the Bible and believe everything else and say, I'm just going to skip over this part about him. You know, and that is the conversation we must have from the pulpit. Those are the conversations we must have. I spoke at the funeral of Bishop Roy E. Brown, prominent bishop in the Baptist community. Double amputee, going to dialysis. All of the bishops sitting up on the stage, going through the same incident. And I said, we have to talk about this. I know you guys probably don't invite me to another funeral, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this man of God died through God's will. God wants us to be fruitful and multiply, not toxic and die. And we can't sit here and pretend like that. He put on the full armor of God to fight against wine, women, and song. But every new level, there's a new devil, and they will find their way in. And when God was in the desert, the devil didn't come to God and say, I'm going to give you riches, I'm going to give you gold, I'm going to give you women. He says, no, aren't you hungry? He found and attempted to find a way in. And that is what's happening with us. So all the strength that we have, food is finding out its way in. And it is as sinful as if you drink all night or you fornicate. Eating and killing God's gift to us is just as simple. You invited me. So that's my message. I think families deserve not to be traumatized. And it's not about are you going to live forever. It's about a quality of life. What meat does in helping Alzheimer's and dementia, you don't want to live to 100 and can't identify your grandchildren. People will point to and say, yeah, we're living longer. Yeah, but we're more medicated than ever. We're profiting off of procedure after procedure after procedure, hoisting us up, acting like that's a quality life, and we're just surviving. Man is meant for more than that, and better than that. And that's my role as the Borough President. Thank you very much.
Every single person, 3 days we see, every single person, put on plant-based diet, exercise, walking, people reversing.
So we're going to reach out so we can figure out how we do something similar in Brooklyn, okay?
We can probably take your number before you leave.
Okay, I'm getting ready to bounce, so we're going to take it down. Put it in your phone. What was the vision? How did you come about doing it?
Yeah, so
it's a long story.
The card? I'll go to card.
Yeah. Let me know.
Young people, that's what we do.
Love it.
We just opened a plant-based health store. We're about to open it up. We want to open up in New York City.
Because the key is to focus on our faith-based institutions.
Yeah, that's right.
You know that, and show them the connection. And so that's why I want to hear about how did you do it, and then I can get all my youth ministries to sit down and start planting the seed.
We actually do it. We actually just started doing like medical missionary work among a lot of youth, especially in New York City. We started in Brooklyn. The first place we started was about 17.
Where in Brooklyn?
We started at Christian Fellowship Church.
Fellowship, a faith-based church, basically.
So they use the youth ministry.
I love his hair.
All the youth ministries, and we taught them.
Really educating them as well, even in the full plant-based lifestyle.
Right.
And young people saw everything, just the changes.
Right. I love it.
Can you walk yet?
Love it.
He's trying. Yeah, those legs strong.
Love it.
So that was great.
We should talk, because that's the goal. The goal is once the young people start realizing, the impact and how they're losing friends and families, and they can turn it around. That's a powerful, powerful message.
The beauty is they have a place in New York where people can go.
Yeah. And and what else is very important? That two of you are young black men.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think this vegan stuff is a white thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's good to see young black folks.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that kind of strange.
No, it's so important. No, we're gonna definitely talk. Okay. All right.
I don't need to go up there then. You got it covered.
A health food store, which is actually a plant-based health food market called Eden Life Market. And you can find it on edenlifemarket.com. And there we are trying to really spark a revolution in New York City.
Oh wow, it's dark outside the whole day.
Not at night. In the light, night. You're moving quick.
Bye, God bless.
God bless.
Safe travels.
Stop right. Never stop vlogging.
Yeah, I know. Hi, baby. We're going home. We're going home. We're in the city. We're going home.
Only faith-based institution that even deals with this are Seventh-day Adventists. Only one. Only one. That's the good side. But the bad side is a whole lot of them don't listen. Let's keep it real. You know, there's no greater sin than having the information and ignoring it. You can't go through the Bible and believe everything else and say, I'm just going to skip over this part about him. You know, and that is a conversation we must have from the